And are you refreshed? Yes. Good. Now what? You know, when you have a clear desire and you're somewhere in the vicinity of it, you light up in a, I want this and I'm ready for this way. There's a lot of that going on here.
I'm super excited. I have played this in my mind so many times, and the lady in front of me told me, write your question because you're gonna get it, so write your question.
She got your spot. Yeah. No.
But I didn't, because of course I didn't, because I thought, like, I know the question is just gonna come to me. It's just gonna be there, and I think about it, and the question is gonna come to me.
Uh-oh.
It's not coming.
Well, what was the whole point of this?
Of coming here?
Coming to this chair?
I am so grateful that I met you. Like, obviously, you changed my life, because you articulated everything that I couldn't articulate.
Things you already knew.
Yes.
Right.
And gave me so much, like, light and stuff, and I went into this whole thing of, like, doing channeling readings and all that, and it seems that I'm, like, at that level that I can be, like, stable, like, with my life. Like, I can look at something that's happening and say, okay, what is the reason this is happening? Like, all that, like, what is the lesson behind it? What is the pattern within me that's creating this, that's attracting this? Like, there's only attraction, there's only attraction. Like, why is this bringing this? Like,
it's helpful to notice that there is a pattern. There's never a lesson. No one's trying to teach you a lesson.
That's good.
It's just you teaching yourself the lesson, I don't like this, or I do like this. But there's no one who's decided that there is something that you ought to be doing, or something that you didn't get right, and so we'll teach you a lesson. There's nothing like that going on. You're not getting that from source, you're getting that from your mother.
Right there. Yeah. So I'm in that place, right? Cool. And it seems to me that now I'm gonna, like, keep going, right? I'm going at 50. I'm good at the 50, but I wanna go now at the 90s, 100. And
look at it this way. When you are in a state of non-resistance, you feel good, which means you're allowing into your experience. A feeling of satisfaction is really a nice feeling. A feeling of eagerness is a really nice feeling too. It's a different feeling. A feeling of passion, that off-the-wall enthusiasm, that's a nice feeling too. But you're not wanting to go 100 miles an hour all the time. In fact, sometimes it's nice to be able to mold your speed, to mold your energy, because let's say you're going really fast and then you come across a resistant thought about the subject. A car that's going 100 miles an hour and hits a tree doesn't feel so good. A car that's going 5 miles an hour and hits a tree is not such a big thing. So your process is to figure things out, because we really want you to hear this. There is always going to be something in your life experience that causes you to ask for more. So there is always going to be a gap between what you've just asked for and your readiness for it. We want you to manage that gap by acknowledging, first of all, it's supposed to be there. Next of all, that nothing's going wrong. Next of all, that things are always working out, so that you can stand in that place, that pleasurable place of enjoying watching things fall into place. You forget that you are creators. A sculptor wants to mold the clay. You wouldn't just take your clay and slap it down and say, well, that didn't turn out like I expected, but there you are. You want to spend time with it, and that's the way life is with you. You have a new experience which gives you a new request, and that new request now has given your vortex a new segment. The new request that you just threw in affected everything else that was already there, and now everything is finding cooperation with everything else. Do you see what we're getting at? It's just a constant state of evolution and becoming. And so you don't need to be eager to get somewhere. What we want you to be is satisfied where you are, because if you will focus on being satisfied with what is, the eagerness for more will come naturally. It will come so easily, and you won't have those highs and lows, that roller coaster life that so many people have when they want something and then they get it and then they go into depression because they're not ready for the next and the next. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. What happens to me is that I want something and I get it and I get bored, like, and then I want something else.
But this is why we were emphasizing earlier, you want it for the feeling of it, and once you calibrate to that feeling of why you want it, now there's just another and another and another. That's the distinction we were making with our friend earlier, that when you're looking for a specific goal, then what you just described can happen. You want it, you're looking forward to this trip, you plan for it, you go on the trip, and now it's over, and now you're in a funk. That's the difference between what we were talking about the subject being the trip and the subject being the happily ever after life that I'm living, because you're always on a trip. You're always around a lot of people. There is always so much potential for collaboration and consideration and rendezvousing. You see what we're getting at?
Yes, totally.
So that will sort of steady that, because if you have those feelings of exhilaration and then that feeling of being bored, that's not that steady state of allowing that we're talking about. And it also indicates that there's a little bit of conditional response. In other words, the trip or whatever it is you created was your reason for happiness, and now you need something else to replace it. Where if you let your intention be to focus upon finding that feeling and not needing the condition to support it. Most people live a very conditional love. They don't love just because it's natural to love. They love because there's somebody to love and somebody that's loving them back. And it feels good when somebody holds you as their object of attention and they're loving you. Oh, it feels so good. But now you need their undivided attention. They better not go have dinner somewhere or go to work. You need their undivided attention because they are the reason that you feel the way you do. That's not what you're looking for. You're wanting to connect with who you are so that where you are looking feels good to you all the time. And then there isn't the high and the low and the high and the low. It's just that steady feeling of well-being that is constantly expressing itself in another way and in another way and in another way. Esther was texting a friend as she was waiting at the airport in San Diego, and her friend said, "Where are you going?" And Esther said, "Dallas." And then she wrote, "Yee-haw." Just for fun. She's never done that in her life. She doesn't even know what came over her. It's not something that she has ever said. It just happened. So now it was a direct flight, and the plane landed. It was Southwest. Plane landed, and a very funny, Esther had been enjoying him the whole flight attendant who was making the majority of the announcement said, "Welcome to Dallas. Welcome to Love Field, home of Southwest Airlines." And the passenger across the way said, "Yee-haw." And Esther thought, all right, this is the universe playing with me. It's like they know in advance that that guy's going to do that. So they set me up for that. They set me up for that. And it was way funny. Everyone laughed, but especially Esther. She really, really liked that. Now, you may not find that very significant, but when you're in on the setup and then the universe delivers, you feel really, really cared for. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Enough? Yeah.